the original sin of faith and lessons of belief, and the raising of problems. Part 17 of the theme of contemporary human confusion by Oriental philosophers. We've heard a lot about the original sin of theologians standing on a sacred platform, so today we're going to talk about the original sin and the lessons of faith. So why do we ask such a question? That's what we're going to show you today in this lecture. In the scope of life philosophy, we have heard such a feeling, that is, there are all kinds of sufferings in the world, the most bitter is the human heart. Then this feeling is only half right, because only those intelligent and brilliant hearts will be sensitive to the ultimate pain and hardship of human beings. As for the physical existence of the vast sea of people, the heart of the dead stone and dead wood, completely ignorant of the meaning of life, let alone the ultimate pain and hardship of life, what is it? So, why is the heart of the most bitter? In the final analysis, it is because human beings emerge from nihility and will disappear in a moment of nihility, a moment of existence. In the face of nihilistic fate, where should people go to find the meaning and value of life's existence? Only to nihility as the burial place. Where is the hometown of a human soul? Facing the fate of death, facing the fate of nothingness, such a question just shows the need for the ultimate comfort of the soul. At the same time, people do not know how to determine the meaning and value of their lives in the face of the nihilistic fate, which is the ultimate suffering and hardship of life philosophy, and the ultimate suffering and hardship of life. From the pain and hardship of the extreme life we mentioned above, it emerges that people need the ultimate comfort of the soul, and belief, or belief as absolute truth, is the source of ultimate comfort, from belief as absolute truth, which is the last way for people to confirm the meaning and value of life. Belief, as absolute truth, expresses people's need for ultimate comfort and the meaning of life. A religious spirit is the habitat of belief, which also constitutes the basic social reasons for the existence and development of religion. But since ancient times, people have seldom been willing to face up to a grim and terrible fact, that is, the belief as absolute truth, as the source of ultimate comfort for people, is at the same time the source of the great tragedy of life. And this great tragedy of life, from ancient times to the present, cannot be cut off, and often become the theme song of human destiny. It means that things are not accurate. But you know the facts. Jerusalem, as a holy place of faith confirmed by ancient Jewish wisdom, has become a sinful place for Judaism, Christianity, and Islam to fight for its ownership through the ages. How many lives have been sacrificed in the name of the sacred faith? Here, they are alienated into bloodthirsty demons that devour people's lives. Then there are the millennia of medieval darkness that Christianity once held up, the darkness of hell that could only be illuminated by the burning bodies of countless heretics tied to the pillars of the Inquisition. And the Crusades, again and again, the mountains of blood and corpses on the way of the Crusades, are constantly pouring out to history, belonging to the cruelty, absurdity, and greed of the so-called sacred belief. Behind the crimes against humanity of Hitler and Stalin's mass murder of Jews lies an ancient hatred of Christianity or Orthodox Judaism. To this day, ownership of Jerusalem remains the focus of irreconcilable animosities between Judaism and Islam. International terrorism, born out of Islamic fundamentalism, still regards hatred of Christians and Judaism as the cornerstone of its legitimacy. There are many more examples of this. Faced with these grim and terrible facts from ancient times to the present, how many people have really reflected on the following questions about the original sin and lessons of faith, the sacred belief of saving the soul, why it has been alienated as a reason for human hatred and killing each other, the belief that should bring ultimate comfort to people, should help people overcome the ultimate spiritual pain and the power of belief, why has it alienated into the eternal tragedy of human history? Claiming to preach the religious spirit of fraternity. Why should the religious butcher's knife be used to exterminate the infidels? Why should religious belief be alienated into the original sin of the spirit that sows the seeds of hatred among men? What lessons should we draw from the above-mentioned historical tragedies emerging from faith to rebuild our spiritual homeland and our faith homeland? Nowadays, due to the so-called political correctness tendency adhered to by the politicians and scholars of the white left, people's respect for religious beliefs has gone beyond the loyalty to real human nature. Therefore, few people really reflect on the above problems. However, in the contemporary era of scientific rationality, such a kind of ultimate life tragedy of human materialization has made us unable to reface the original sin and lessons of belief that have appeared in the history of thousands of years. Only by recognizing and understanding the original sin of faith in history, and the lessons arising from this original sin, can we truly embark on the road of returning to the soul. We have already discussed that in the era of scientific rationality, in order to save the crisis of human materialized philosophy of life, in order to prevent human beings from becoming the existence of material greed, in order to save the human mind, the only way is to return to the mind. So in today's lecture, we put forward the original sin and lessons of faith in order to make a clear judgment that our return to the spiritual road does not mean returning to the ruins of faith in history. What we call the road of returning to the soul is actually to rebuild the sacred belief belonging to the era of scientific rationality on the basis of calm reflection on the original sin and lessons of past beliefs. Under the background of the era of scientific rationality, we should rebuild our spiritual home.